In this video, I'm going to go through each of the 24 teams competing in the upcoming Euros and say how likely I think they each are to win the entire thing. This is going to be a weekly series, but obviously it won't always be the Euros. Sometimes it'll be Champions League, Premier League, everything. We're going to turn how likely to into a weekly series, and this is the first one, and what a better way to start than with the upcoming Euro 2024. This upcoming tournament is very exciting. I feel like there's so many teams that have a legit chance of winning. But let me show you how I'm going to be grading these. So there's 5 categories that I've gone for. The first of which is no chance in hell. So these are for the teams that I don't even think will make it out of the groups, let alone go all the way and win the entire thing. It's quite straightforward. The bottom of the 5, bottom of the pecking order, absolutely no chance in hell. Next, we have I guess you never know. And this is saved for teams I think could get through the group stages, and for that reason, if you get into the knockouts, I guess you really never know. I would not expect them to get far at all, but if there was to be a shock, that's where these kind of teams fit in. And middle of the pack is good, but not that good. And these are teams that I expect to get through the group stages, maybe get to the quarters. I would be pretty shocked, if I'm being honest, if they managed to get to the final, let alone win the entire thing. It's for the middle of the pack kind of teams. And then second best, we've got I could see it. And these are saved for teams that I wouldn't be that shocked if they did go and win it, but I don't personally think they will. So I don't want to spoil anything. There's a good few teams in here. It's not a bad place to be at all. Second best is not bad at all. And then the top category, the teams where you want to be in this category. You want to be in this one. Real contender. And this is saved for only a few teams that I could really see winning the entire tournament. I think there's about 3 or 4 teams that I think are in this. But let's jump into the first team. We're going to go in group order, so let's see how I think the first group are going to fare in the whole tournament. So the first team of the first group is obviously the hosts, Germany, and we're starting off very strong here. I like Germany's odds very much. They have a very talented team, and obviously a bonus of the fact that Dortmund just got to Champions League final, and a lot of them players are German and might not even play a minute in the Euros. It shows how much depth they've actually got in the squad. A good bonus as well is recently they've struggled for a striker, but Füllkrug, the Dortmund striker, looks like he could be very important for them. Obviously had a good World Cup, and now he's going to push on to the Euros as well. But obviously, and we're not even talking about the stars yet. We're talking about Sane, Musiala, Kimmich. Obviously the entire Bayern team basically is what we're talking about here. I honestly would not be surprised if Germany went all the way in their own country and went and won the entire Euros. And for that reason, there's only one place I can put them, and that is real contender. I don't think there's any shock there. I wouldn't say they're favourites for the tournament. I believe that's England. But I would say there are a lot of people's dark horses to go and win the entire thing. And by dark horses, I don't mean they're an awful team. I just mean the usuals are England and France, but I think a lot of people have a sneaky suspicion that Germany may go all the way, and I must say I am one of those people. Now, moving on to the next team, it's Scotland. Now, this one could be controversial. Obviously, these aren't going to also be in contenders like Germany. I'm sorry, Scottish fans, I just can't put you in one of the top 2. I must say it as well, can't even put you in one of the top 3. But I do expect Scotland to have a good opportunity to get out of this group. It's not the toughest group in the world. It's got 2 more teams to come. You'll see who they are in a minute. So I would not be surprised at all if Scotland did get out of this group. And for that reason, I've put them in I guess you never know. I don't think they will win it at all. I think it's outrageous to think they would. But if they get out of the group stage, then we cannot say it's absolutely impossible. I'm saving the no chance in hell for teams that I don't even see having a chance in the group stage, let alone the knockouts. Whereas Scotland, I think they could get through the group stages, and for that reason, I don't think I can quite put them in the bottom one. The Scotland fans, I'm sorry, I also don't think you're in the third one. Also, I don't think you're close to... You'll see the teams basically I'm putting in the third one, and I think you understand, I don't think Scotland are quite on that level, but it would be good to see Scotland have a good little run in the tournament, cause a few upsets here and there. It would be good fun seeing a few upsets. I don't mind it at all, but I guess you never know is where I'm putting Scotland for this one. Next is Hungary, and sadly, if there are any Hungarians watching, this isn't going to be pleasant for you at all. They're in a group with Scotland, Germany, and Switzerland still to come next, and I just can't see them getting out of the group. I'm sorry, they could. I could easily see them maybe getting a point against Scotland, maybe against Switzerland as well. But I don't think the game against Germany is going to go too well. Obviously, I might be wrong. And if I am, you'll have to come back to this video and write abuse in the comments at me, all the Hungarians. But I'm sorry, I just have to put it in no chance in hell. I just really can't see Hungary getting out of the group stages. So I can't put them anything above the lowest one. And the last team in the group is Switzerland. Now, this is an interesting one. Switzerland always feel like a dark horse in a tournament. They always feel like they knock out a big team or have some big result along the way. But with how strong every team is this tournament, I don't really think they stand a proper chance of winning or realistically getting that far. But just like Scotland, I think they have every chance in the world of getting out of their group. And for that reason, they're sitting with Scotland in that I guess you never know. I think that's fair enough. I think Switzerland are the kind of team that will get through, whether it's in second or a best third place, and then maybe cause an upset in the round of 16, but lose in the quarterfinals. I don't think Swiss fans can be too upset about that. I think that's kind of what Swiss fans' expectations will be as well. Not expected to win the entire thing, but I mean, I would not complain if Switzerland went really far and caused a lot of upsets. That would be a very exciting tournament for them if that happened. But I guess you never know. Seems fair for now. And now, moving on to Group B, we start off. This is potentially one of the strongest groups in the entire tournament. So this was the toughest group, I think, to decide for this. But Spain is first. And Spain is maybe the team I struggle to decide with the most. I'm sorry, Spaniards. I haven't been able to put you in the top one. I'm going to say that now. I just haven't. I've saved that for the top 3 teams. I've obviously already seen Germany. There's 2 more to come. You might know what they are. You might not. I might just surprise you. But Spain, I like their team a lot. I like their midfield especially. Their midfield is so good. But I said in my head, I'm trying to picture it. And I just don't think they quite have the players to beat some of the top teams. I think they could go far. But I think when they come up against Germany or one of the other 2 teams I've still got to come, or even some of the other teams on a similar level to them, I think that could be where Spain's journeys end. And for that reason, I've got to put them in. I could see it, which isn't bad at all. I'm saying it like it's a really bad thing, Spaniards. It's not at all. If you're watching this and you're Spanish, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Spain did go and win the entire thing. But for me personally, I just don't see it happening. I don't think their squad is quite there. But the positive thing is, you've got a lot of years still to develop. It's a very young squad. Obviously, got so many youngsters coming through in the Spanish league, especially like people like Lamine Yamal. Like, how are we going to compete with them in a few years? But a few years isn't quite yet. I don't think it's quite going to be Spain's year, but it would be a pleasant surprise to see Spain get really far. Who doesn't love watching some good Spanish football at the highest level? It's so entertaining to watch. I hope I am wrong with this one. I would love Spain to get to the final. I think they'd make it really entertaining, but I don't think it's quite going to happen. I could see it is what I've decided to go for. And next in the group is Croatia. Now again, this was another difficult one because they're not guaranteed to get through the group. You would think Croatia in a tournament like this, you would assume they're round 16 contenders instantly, but they are in a group with Spain and also Italy. I am expecting Croatia to get through though. I don't think they're going to go out in the group stage. I'd imagine this group could potentially be the one where we see a 3rd place get through, but we will have to wait and see. Croatia have got a very good team. Obviously, they are getting a bit older now. But for that reason, I've gone with good, but not that good. I think that's very generous. I was deciding between that and that I guess you never know. But that seemed a bit harsh for the level of players Croatia have in their squad. So I think they're good, but not that good. But towards the lower end of it. And I'm specifying towards the lower end because Italy, the reigning champions of Euro, obviously they beat England on penalties. Let's not remind us all of that. But obviously, reigning champs, but I just don't see them winning it. I was thinking, should I put them on the I could see it train with Spain? But I think Spain's team is significantly better than Italy's. And for that reason, it's going in the upper end. But it is going in the same as Croatia. It's going in the good, but not that good. I know it might sound a bit harsh, Italians. You've just won it a few years ago. But your team, I don't think, is really that strong in comparison to Italy. In comparison to Spain, in Germany, some other teams we've got left to come. So you're in the same category as Croatia, but I would have Italy at the upper end and Croatia at the lower end. So Italians, calm down. You're in the 3rd one, but you're at the upper 3rd one. You're almost in the 4th one. That far away, but personally, I just don't see it happening. I don't think this is going to be the Italians' year. And finally in the group, we have Albania. And I'm not going to spend much time on this. Let's be real, it's no chance in hell. I guarantee you Albania will not win the Euros. Obviously, it's crazy to even think of them getting through this group. They've been shoved in the hardest group by far. And I don't mind Albania at all. I would love to see them get through. But I think with how difficult their group is, it's realistically just not going to happen. And for that reason, it's got to be a no chance in hell. Now we're on the all-important Group C. We're going to go very quickly through the first one. Slovenia, no chance in hell. It's the exact same as the other no chance in hell. I just don't see it happening at all. And if they do get through the group stages, which obviously remember, this is talking about the entire Euros, winning the entire thing. I don't see it happening. And even if they do get through, I don't see them causing issues in the round of 16. No chance in hell. Denmark. This one's a bit more interesting. I don't mind Denmark at all. I feel like they're in a similar position to Croatia. And for that reason, they're in the same thing. Good, but not that good. But once again, towards the lower end. I think Højlund could have a very good Euros for them. I feel like in Euros, big goals count and you need to take the chances you get. And he is good at doing that. Doesn't create too many chances, but when he gets them, he takes them. So he could be lethal in this Danish team. Will be interesting to see how good they are because obviously England have them in their group. But I think good, but not that good. But definitely towards the lower end of that. Don't worry, Italians, not near you guys. And then next, we have Serbia. And again, this is an interesting one. A lot of people, like I said in my previous video, had them as dark horses for the World Cup, but they didn't actually end up performing too well. And I think we could be seeing the same thing again. I don't think they'll be the team to go through this group. I think it will simply be England, Denmark, and maybe Serbia if they're the best third place. So for that, I've got to put them in there. I guess you never know. They definitely have the talent to get through. I don't think they have the talent to win it, though. That's a big difference in the entire thing. I think it's not that weird if they get through, but it is weird if they got to the semis, quarters, whatever. So I guess you never know is fair enough. I don't think anyone's expecting it, so it'd be a massive upset. But I think they could get through the group, so I won't put them in no chance in hell. And the one we've all been waiting for, England. Now, I think I've got to put them in, I could see it. I don't think I could put them in the top one. I'm only kidding. Of course they're in real contender. There's no one out. They were the first name in real contender. This could be their best opportunity of winning it. Because in the next one, they won't have Harry Kane at his peak. This is potentially peak Harry Kane mixed with a Bellingham that's just won the Champions League, with a Foden that's just won Player of the Season, a Rice who's almost just won Premier League with Arsenal, Mainoo's came through if he plays. If not, we've got Cole Palmer coming in. So much talent in this team. The only weak spot you could say is left centre-back and maybe left-back depending on the injury situation at the time that the Euros actually starts. But I mean, I think this is potentially the best squad in the entire Euros. So real contender is the only possible place to put them. I think it's them, Germany, and there's one more. But is it going to be the one you're thinking of? You'll have to wait and see. But that is Group C done. I think it's quite a straightforward group in that sense. And now we move to Group D. And again, we're going to start off very quickly. I'm sorry to the Polish fans, but it's got to be no chance in hell. Even with Lewandowski, this group is way too strong to even see Poland progressing. And even if they do, and I'd like to see Poland get through. I'd like to see Lewandowski have a good, probably final ever Euros. But even if they do get through, I don't think they're getting anywhere near the quarters or the semis. And I need to be able to picture that to give you anything higher than a no chance in hell. I don't see them getting through the group, and I definitely don't see them winning the entire thing. Poland, no chance in hell. I think that's the only thing I can reasonably give them. And next, we have the Netherlands, and this is a very interesting one. The Dutch squad itself is actually really good. I like a lot of the players. Obviously, like De Jong is a real standout with Van Dijk back at his best. Ake's had a great season since the last World Cup. He's really changed into a new player. Obviously, winning the treble with City, he has changed as well. So we've got him, Van Dijk, then got up to De Jong. I've got a very solid base, and they could be very tough to beat. But the issue is, I don't know if they're going to be good enough to classify themselves as a real contender. And for that reason, they're in that I could see. I feel like them and Spain are on a similar level. Whereas if one of them did get to the final, I wouldn't be overly surprised, but I don't think I can predict them being a true contender. I think that's fair enough as well. I could see it. It's definitely a compliment as well. I think Netherlands have been a bit poor for a few years now, but for the first time, I'm actually a bit excited to watch them play in the Euros. But obviously, this could all go absolutely wrong, and they could get knocked out in the group stage. You never know. They've got a really tough group ahead of them. And the next team is Austria. Again, a very interesting one, a similar one to Switzerland, where I could see them causing an upset or two, especially to France or Netherlands, who are both in their group. I could see them taking points off one of them, but I don't think it's going to be enough to really see them get through. And if they do get through, I don't think it's going to be enough to see them beyond the round of 16, the quarters. But I wouldn't be surprised if these were one of the third place teams to make it through. And for that reason, I guess you never know, seems like the fairest response for Austria. I would not mind them taking some points off France and messing up their momentum for further in the tournament. But for Austria, I think I guess you never know is the only fair response in my opinion. And finally, it is France. Now, where am I going to put these? Obviously, it's got to be in one of the top two. It's France. They've got potentially the best, if not the second best squad in the entire tournament. Mbappe's just confirmed he's gone to Madrid. Their team is looking like an absolute joke. As always, though, that's the thing we got to remember. Their team is always a joke, but they have only won one major tournament in the past, what was it, like 10 years now or so? So it wouldn't be surprising if they don't win it, but I mean, they've got to be a real contender. There is no debate about that. So we have Germany, England, and France as the real contenders. I don't think we can really complain about any of them. I would say they are probably the three most favourite to win the entire thing, and France could be a real issue. But then again, it wouldn't be surprising if the French went and messed it up and went out in the round of 16 to a team like Switzerland. We've seen them mess up early before to teams they should never be competitive with. So you never quite know. Hopefully France get knocked out early. It makes it a bit easier for England. But, I mean, I would be lying if I said they weren't a real contender for this Euros. And we now have potentially the weakest group in the entire tournament. So we're going to have to run through this one relatively quickly because there's not many contenders here. I'll let you know that for free. The first team, though, is Belgium. And I think they could be some dark horses. Obviously, their team has been so good for the past like 10 years. And it's evolved and they've got new players in. Some have left, obviously. But it's stayed at a similar level. If anything, it's got slightly weaker now. But I do think there are a few game changers here. And for example, Doku could be one of them. I don't think he's absolutely amazing, but he does have that electricity that they could use on the wing. Sometimes they're a bit flat. So someone like him coming into the team could really cause some issues for them. Also, De Bruyne. He's going to be the game changer here. If De Bruyne isn't fit, they're probably no chance in hell, if we're being honest. If De Bruyne manages to stay fit the entire tournament, then they could really be a contender. A player of that ability can completely change an outcome. And Lukaku, we've seen him do it for Belgium before. They've got some real good players. Courtois as well in goal. They've got some good players. And I think Doku, someone like that, could be the difference maker. Showing them something bit different. You know, make defences question what they're going to do and stuff like that. I think that for that reason, I'm going to have to go with Belgium. I could see it. Man, I don't think they're going to. But if everything lines up properly, if De Bruyne stays fit, if Doku hits like he could do, if Lukaku scores, if Courtois has an unbelievable tournament, and that's not out of the realms of possibilities, we've seen Courtois have unbelievable games over his career. So if he has a great tournament, De Bruyne stays fit, Lukaku scores a lot, we have someone like Doku creating something a bit different, then, I mean, it wouldn't be that surprising. They're probably towards the lower end if I could see it, because all those things I think would have to happen to give them a chance. But if they do happen, then I wouldn't be too surprised if they went all the way. So I think the lower end of I could see is definitely fair for Belgium. And next we have Slovakia, and straight away the next two we're going to run through real quickly. No chance in hell. And then we've got Romania. No chance in hell. I know I said if there's a chance they can get through the group, I won't put them in no chance in hell. But these last two groups are a bit of an exception because they're a bit weak. I think this group especially is the weakest in the tournament. So even if they could get through in second or even third, I still got to give them a no chance in hell. I know I've gone against the rule, but let's be honest, Romania and Slovakia don't have a chance in hell of winning this Euros, even if they manage to get through. If they get through, it'll purely be because the group is relatively weak. So I think no chance in hell is only fair for them. It's nothing against the countries. It's just they're in a weak group and they're not that good. So I can't really put them any higher than this. And finally in the group, we have Ukraine. Now this one's a bit of an interesting one. I was considering put them in no chance in hell, but I feel like that would be a bit unfair, as I am expecting them to easily come second, or on paper anyway, they should be the second place without a question. They have a few Premier League players. They've got quite a few European level players, so they should easily be pushing for that second place, if not first, if Belgium have a poor tournament. So for that reason, they're in with the Scotland and people like that in the I guess you never know. I mean, no one's expecting Ukraine to have that good of a tournament in terms of quarters, semis, final even. But I can't rule them out because I do expect them to quite easily make it to the round of 16. We're now on to the final group. And to start off the final group, we have Turkey. And I don't actually mind Turkey at all. They could play some interesting football this tournament. I could potentially have them as a contender, not to win the entire thing, don't worry about that, but to cause an upset against a big team in maybe the round of 16 or maybe even the quarters, but I doubt the quarters. But I think they could get a big result in the group or maybe the round of 16. I wouldn't be too surprised. They have a bit of talent scattered around the pitch, and for that reason, it's an easy, I guess you never know. Now, the next team in this group is Georgia, and obviously they have the Napoli winger. I'm not even going to attempt to say his name, and he is good enough to carry any team in the world, but the Euros is just a bit too different. And if I'm not doing it for Poland, I can't do it for Georgia. They've got to be no chance in hell. And third in the group is the big one. It is Portugal. Now, what are we thinking about Portugal? I think their team, without Ronaldo starting, could be a real contender. They could literally play Ronaldo for about 15 minutes every game off the bench, and with him sharp for 15 minutes, he could get you quite a few goals. They've got the likes of still Bruno Fernandes. Their team is still actually on paper really good. Bruno Fernandes and Bernardo Silva, both in the same midfield / attack, could be absolutely disgusting. But the issue is, I'm not sure if their team is all-rounded enough to be a true contender. And for that reason, I'm going to have to put them in the I could see it, and probably around the mid-range of the I could see it. I think they're sat with the teams that, you know, most people would expect them to do around. I think I could see them in the quarters, the semis, and if I could see them there, then there's no reason they can't win one of those games and easily end up in the final. I personally don't think it will happen, but, I mean, it wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world if Portugal went on and won 2 out of the last 3 Euros. And final team of the video, I've accidentally just spoiled it, is Czech Republic. And as you saw, it's I guess you never know. They've got talent scattered around the pitch, but it's not realistically going to be enough to go all the way and win the entire Euros. But that is it for the video. If you have enjoyed, thank you very much. Leave it a like. And if you have made it this far, comment down below who you think are the favourites to win the entire thing, so I know you've made it this far. But until next time, thanks for watching and goodbye.